Are you a beggar? Are you suffering from one kind of problem that nobody has ever suffered that problem and came out? The same thing happened to Jeremiah. Praise the Lord. God bless you. We divided this topic into 3 parts. Part 1, in the topic that says, I refuse to surrender. We have done part 1. Look for it. We have done part 2. I refuse to surrender. Get it. Now we are in part 3. And that part 3 is saying, pray until something happens. Part 3 of I refuse to surrender. Then under it, we're going to talk about now. Pray until something happens. Praise the Lord. There's a young man called Jacob. He was a twin. His twin brother is called Esau. They started fighting from the womb. And as they were fighting in the womb, in their mother's womb, Jacob kicked. Esau kicked Jacob and kicked him back to the mother's womb. And then came out with reds as a fighter. Are you hearing me? So you may not know how far you have fought, even from your mother's womb. There are people I know, as they were fighting to come out from their mother's womb, there are powers of darkness that are pulling them down. Some of them were born and they died. Some of them were born and they were very weak. They put them in incubator to help them recover the strength they lost while they were fighting from their mother's womb. Some of them came out whole without much problem. They were scratched inside their body. Some of them had jaundice. And then the doctor refused to discharge them from the hospital until they treat those jaundice. Some of them came out, but their father and their parents had spent all their money. So there's no money to feed them well, to clothe them well, to service them well. So they grow with lack because they were born in a stony place. Some of them were born, and the first person that touched them, the first nurse, the first medical doctor, were occultic men. And then they bathed them with hot water and cold water, mild water, and take those water and drink their destiny in their offices. And the problem begin to happen in their life. Let me tell you something about myself. Are you listening to me? This prayer, Madeke, you are hearing from now. I spent more than 10 months, going to 11 months in my mother's womb. Do you know why? There is a shrine, a family shrine in my place, because my mother and my father were idol worshippers. So they dedicate me to a shrine called Ozu Umokorongo. And then when the powers of my father's house saw the glory in me, the kind of light that was shining in me, they tried to quench it. So they started fighting that I was not going to be born. I stayed the 9th month, the 10th month, going to the 11th month before I was born. That's not all. The first person that touched me from my mother's womb is a man called Okolene from a village in Shekarom in my community. He was a great crown and a marine agent. So my problem started. It was war all through my life. Anyway, let's forget about it. I fought battle in my life. I've seen death face to face, but I refuse to die. That's why I said I refuse to surrender in this our program. We have seen part 1, part 2. We're now in part 3. I refuse to die. And that part 3, we have a subtopic that talk about pray until something happen. I knew